So this is the config app settings.jsn. This file contains configuration settings for your framework. Examples like base URL, environment details, browser type, timeouts, or any other values you want to make configurable instead of hard coding them. So the test constants.cs will be the static class holding constant values used across the framework. Examples would be fixed strings, test data, selectors, or reusable keys that don't change often. So in helpers, we have driverfactory.cs and URL helper.cs. Driverfactory.cs would be responsible for initializing and managing the Playwright driver browser context, and it ensures that the correct browser instance is created and reused where necessary. Whereas URL helper.cs will be a utility class for handling navigation between application URLs. This makes your test cleaner by centralizing all URL references in one place. And for models, we will have textbox model.cs. It will be a model class representing data for the text box feature. Typically follows the page object plus data model pattern where you store test input output values in a strongly typed structure. So in pages we have textbox page.cs, which will be a page object class that represents the text box page of your application. It encapsulates selectors and actions like entering text, clicking buttons, reading values, and this ensures your test logic is separate from UI element locators. So in tests, we have base test.cs and textbox test.cs. Base test.cs would be the parent test class that sets up and tears down the test execution. And common responsibilities are initializing the Playwright driver from driver factory, loading config from app settings.json, and defining common hooks for test initialize and test cleanup. Textbox test.cs will contain the actual test cases for validating the text box functionality. Example would be verifying the text entered into the box is displayed correctly on submission. So the key takeaways for this from this approach are it's model driven, like textbox model separates data from the test logic. We are using the page object models, POM, textbox page centralizes all interactions. We have configuration driven, where URL helper ensures maintainable URLs. It's reusable and maintainable. Driver factory and base test provide consistent setup and tear down. And we have clean test methods like text box test focuses on business logic, not implementation details. So this is the overview of the entire test framework. We have the app settings.json, which has the basic settings like browser and the base URL. Also, you can specify the headless mode. Then we have a test constants. We have the constant specific to the project. Then we have driver factory, where we can specify different browsers like Chromium, Firefox, WebKit, uh, and we can have different settings like it could be headless, false, or true, and we can specify certain settings here. Then we have URL helper. Here we can specify the base URL, and it can pick the URL from the config file, and we can specify the base URL here. Then we have the text box model class, where we can have specified the getter and setter methods here, and specify the text box model basic constructor. Then we have the text box page, where we have specified all the locators specific to the text box page. We also have certain functions related to the text box as well, like fill form and submit form, and all these different functions related to the text box page as well. And this is the base test class, where we can specify the test initialization method, like setup and tear down as well for the test run. Then we have text box test.cs, which has the main test case, and here we can specify the entire test case here, like running the test case and going to the text box page, and we can have different assertions as well here. You can see different, we have different assertions, like the data is we have provided the assertions are true or false. It contains certain specific elements as related to the input. So now we will do a run of the method test case, and we will run this in Visual Studio. And as you can see, we have opened in debug mode just to see the step-by-step execution. And as you can see now, we have submitted and it is doing the specific assertions. And as you can see, the text box test has passed. Now just going through the UI, this is the text box demo page, which is specifying the full name, email, current address, and permanent address. And once we are submitting it, so it is printing out these input values. So our test is doing the assertions for all these, like providing the input and ensuring the assertions are passed.